How did you make your nasty teacher regret their actions? My calculus teacher, Mr. Rodriguez, had this twisted obsession with humiliating students who got financial aid. He'd announce scholarship kids during class and make us sit in the back rows, calling it the charity section. Maybe if you focused less on being poor and more on math, you'd understand derivatives, he'd say whenever I asked questions. He'd hold up homework assignments and announce grades out loud, but only for scholarship students. Sarah got a C-. Again, I guess that's what happens when you're more worried about your next meal than your education. The other kids would snicker, and I'd sink lower in my seat. He started scheduling mandatory tutoring sessions during my work shifts at McDonald's. When I couldn't attend because I literally needed the money to eat, he'd mark me absent and lower my participation grade. Poor kids need to prioritize education over minimum wage jobs, he'd tell the class while staring at me. But I suppose some people just don't understand long-term thinking. The tutoring sessions became weekly humiliation rituals. He'd make me solve problems on the board while he sat behind his desk eating expensive sushi from downtown. This is what real food looks like, he'd say, watching me struggle with equations while my stomach growled. Not whatever processed garbage you people eat. He knew my mom worked 2 cleaning jobs. He knew my dad left when I was 12. He knew I wore the same 3 shirts because we couldn't afford more. The final straw came when he assigned a group project worth 40% of our grade. He deliberately put all scholarship students together and gave us the hardest topic: creating a working financial model for a startup company. Everyone else got simple topics like graph these functions. We had to research market analysis, create spreadsheets, and present to fake investors. When we couldn't afford the required poster board, markers, and printing costs, easily $50 total, he shrugged and said, "Life's not fair when you're broke. Maybe this will teach you about budgeting." That weekend, I was working drive-thru at McDonald's during dinner rush. Cars were backed up around the building, and I was running on pure exhaustion after pulling a double shift. Around 8 p.m., a familiar silver Honda pulled up to my window. When it rolled down, I nearly dropped the credit card reader. Mr. Rodriguez was in the passenger seat, but something was completely wrong. His wife was driving, and he was counting exact change from a holder full of quarters and dimes. "That'll be $7.43 for the 2 McDoubles and small fries," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. His wife looked exhausted, wearing scrubs that had seen better days. Mr. Rodriguez was avoiding eye contact, carefully counting coins with shaking hands. "Do you have any extra sauce packets?" his wife asked quietly. "We're trying to make this stretch for dinner tomorrow, too." I noticed the hospital bracelet on his wrist and prescription bottles in the cup holder. Behind them was a little girl, maybe 7, sleeping against a stuffed animal, missing an ear. This wasn't the wealthy, condescending teacher who tormented poor kids. This was a desperate father counting quarters to feed his family. Monday morning, I walked into calculus class with a thick manila envelope. My heart was pounding, but I knew exactly what I had to do. "Mr. Rodriguez," I said, standing up during his lecture about rational functions, "I heard about your family's financial situation. I wanted to help." The classroom went dead silent. He stopped mid-sentence, marker frozen against the whiteboard. I walked to the front and placed the envelope on his desk. "Here's a $100 McDonald's gift card and information about food assistance programs, medical bill forgiveness, and re-tutoring services for your daughter." His face went from confused to completely white. I turned to address the class. "Sometimes teachers need help too. Mr. Rodriguez has been working 3 jobs to pay for his daughter's medical bills. Maybe instead of judging people for being poor, we should understand why people make the choices they do." Students started whispering immediately. Some looked shocked, others confused. "Being poor doesn't make you lazy or stupid," I continued, looking directly at him. "It just makes you tired. Really, really tired." His hands were trembling as he stared at the envelope. His voice came out as barely a whisper. "How did you—" "I worked drive-thru, remember? The job you said was beneath me? Turns out it taught me more about real life than your lectures ever did." He never mentioned money or poverty again. 3 weeks later, I found a note in my locker. "Thank you. My daughter starts free tutoring next week. R."